What's up, Steelers Nation? We all know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are always looking to improve and take that next step toward greatness. And right now, we might have a golden opportunity to do just that. But before we dive into today's huge news, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Steelers updates. All right, let's get into it. Major news broke on Wednesday that could shake up the entire NFL landscape. Seattle Seahawks star wide receiver DK Metcalf has officially requested a trade, and the team is willing to explore it. That means a game-changing weapon could be available for the taking, and the Steelers, who are in desperate need of a true WR2, should absolutely be in the conversation. Metcalf has been one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL since entering the league, posting 3 1,000-yard seasons. His combination of size, speed, and physicality makes him a nightmare for defenses, and pairing him with George Pickens would give the Steelers one of the most dangerous receiving duos in football. With Deontay Johnson leaving before the 2024 season, this move could instantly revamp Pittsburgh's offense. The report was first broken by NFL insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, stating that Metcalf met with the Seahawks front office on Wednesday morning, and both sides agreed to explore trade opportunities. Metcalf is heading into the final year of his contract with an $18 million cap hit, making him an attractive target for teams looking for a star receiver. Any team that trades for him would likely negotiate a long-term extension, ensuring that he remains a cornerstone of the offense for years to come. Now let's talk about why this trade makes perfect sense for Pittsburgh. First off, Metcalf's play style fits exactly what the Steelers need. He's a big-bodied target who thrives in contested catch situations, can stretch the field vertically, and brings a physicality that matches the Steelers' identity. Imagine opposing defenses trying to contain both Pickens and Metcalf. It would create endless mismatches and make life easier for whoever lines up under center for the Steelers in 2025. And speaking of quarterbacks, whether it's Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or someone else, having an elite receiving duo is only going to help their development and success. The Steelers struggled with consistency on offense last season, and adding Metcalf could be the missing piece to take this unit to another level. Now let's address the big question. What would it take to land Metcalf? The price tag won't be cheap. The Seahawks are likely looking for at least a high draft pick, possibly a second-rounder or more, plus maybe an additional mid-round pick or a young player. But let's be honest, if the Steelers want to make a real push in the AFC, they need to be aggressive. Pittsburgh has been cautious in the past when it comes to blockbuster trades, but this is an opportunity too good to pass up. We've seen GM Omar Khan come close before. Remember, he was in serious talks to trade for 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk last offseason before the deal fell through. Now he has a chance to redeem himself and bring in a player who could completely change the outlook of the Steelers' offense. This is the kind of move that could define an offseason. Metcalf's arrival would immediately turn Pittsburgh's receiving core into one of the best in the league. The Steelers already have a rising star in George Pickens, and adding a proven playmaker like Metcalf would create a dynamic 1-2 punch that rivals any duo in the NFL. Metcalf isn't just a deep threat, he's a highly competitive player who plays with an edge. He's got that Pittsburgh toughness, and fans would instantly love him. He plays with passion, isn't afraid to talk trash, and backs it up on the field. That's the kind of attitude Steelers fans respect and embrace. If the Steelers want to make this happen, they need to act quickly. Other teams will be in the mix, and Pittsburgh can't afford to wait around. We've seen elite receivers change teams in recent years. Davante Adams, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, and all of them made massive impacts with their new squads. Metcalf could be that kind of acquisition for Pittsburgh. It's no secret that the AFC is loaded with offensive firepower. If the Steelers want to keep up with teams like the Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, and Ravens, they need more weapons. Metcalf would instantly upgrade the offense and give the Steelers a legitimate shot at contending in 2025. While the focus is on the offense, we can't ignore the latest news about T.J. Watt's contract situation. With Max Crosby landing a massive new deal with the Raiders, $106.5 million over 3 years, It's now inevitable that Watt will be looking for an extension that resets the market. Crosby's deal makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and Watt is going to want something in that ballpark. Watt signed a 4-year, $112 million extension in 2021, which was a record at the time. Now, as he enters the final year of his deal with no guaranteed money left, the Steelers need to work on securing him long-term. Watt has been the heart and soul of this defense, and ensuring he stays in Pittsburgh is just as important as making offensive upgrades. Locking up Watt would also free up cap space, potentially making it easier to acquire Metcalf. According to Over the Cap, restructuring or extending Watt's deal could clear nearly $16 million in cap room. That's the kind of flexibility the Steelers need to make a bold move. Heading into the offseason, the Steelers have a clear need at wide receiver. Right now, only George Pickens and Calvin Austin III are returning as key contributors from 2024. And while Pickens has all the talent in the world, he can't do it alone. Pittsburgh needs a true complement to him, someone who can take pressure off and open up this offense. According to Nick Farabaugh of Penn Live, Pittsburgh's top priority this offseason is adding another receiver. But make no mistake, this isn't about replacing George Pickens. The Steelers love what they have in Pickens and are looking to keep him on a long-term deal. Instead, they want to bring in someone who can balance out the offense and make life easier for whoever ends up being the starting quarterback in 2025. So who are the top candidates? Well, there are a few big names to keep an eye on. One option that keeps coming up is Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. The Steelers reportedly had interest in trading for him last year, and if Denver doesn't lock him into a long-term deal, Pittsburgh could try to make a move. Sutton is a big-bodied receiver who thrives in contested catches, making him a great fit alongside Pickens. Another name to watch? Christian Kirk from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pittsburgh was reportedly very interested in acquiring Kirk at the trade deadline last season, but unfortunately, he broke his collarbone before a deal could happen. If Jacksonville decides to move on from Kirk, the Steelers could jump at the opportunity to bring in a proven playmaker. And if they decide to go the free agency route, Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton is another name to watch. Pittsburgh showed interest in him at last year's trade deadline, and he could be a valuable addition to the Steelers' receiver room. He's got solid speed and route-running ability, which could help take some attention away from Pickens. However, there's one major factor holding up any potential moves: the quarterback situation. Farabaugh reports that the Steelers won't make any moves at wide receiver until they figure out who's going to be under center. And honestly, that makes sense. Before you start bringing in weapons, you need to know who's throwing the football. But let's take a step back and talk about George Pickens for a second. He's entering the final year of his rookie deal, and there's no doubt he's been one of the most exciting young receivers in the league. In 2024, Pickens played in 14 games, started 12 of them, and put up 900 yards with 3 touchdowns. And let's be real, if the Steelers had a more stable quarterback situation, those numbers could have been even better. Pickens was a second-round pick back in 2022, and now, as he enters the last year of his 4-year rookie contract, the Steelers have a big decision to make. Do they pay him now or wait until after the 2025 season? Given his talent, it would be wise to lock him in before his price skyrockets. We've seen too many teams hesitate on signing their young stars, only to end up paying way more later on. So what does all of this mean for the Steelers' offense in 2025? Well, if Pittsburgh can land a true WR2, it changes everything. It takes pressure off Pickens, opens up the field for the run game, and most importantly, gives whoever the quarterback is more options to work with. This is an offense that struggled at times in 2024, and a big reason for that was the lack of depth at receiver. But the good news? There are plenty of options available, and Pittsburgh has the opportunity to make a serious upgrade this offseason. So Steelers Nation, the ball is in Omar Khan's court. DK Metcalf is available, and Pittsburgh has a perfect opportunity to make a move that could transform the offense. Should the Steelers go all in and trade for him? Would you be willing to give up a high draft pick to bring in a proven star? And what about TJ Watt's extension? How much should the Steelers pay him to keep him in the black and gold for years to come? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Steelers updates. Thanks for watching, and as always, here we go, Steelers!